Hello everybody, welcome back. There are lots of single folks out there in Hollywood, as well as the music business. Yet to make this main 10, I needed to characterize a specific standard. In fact, I've included men that have been hitched, but have been single for quite a while now. Different folks on this rundown have never been hitched yet, have dated and had short to medium-term connections with no kids. Others have had children, yet they didn't exactly live respectively, or with the ladies that they had those children with. By and large, every one of the folks on this rundown are beyond 30 to 40 years old. More youthful men actually have heaps of time to get hitched, yet assuming you're a more seasoned fellow and you're single, have a lot of dollars and aren't hitched at this point, and have additionally had sweethearts previously, then that shifts focus over to me like you're picking the correct way. In the first place, we have Seth MacFarlane. He's more keen on focusing on his TV programs as opposed to dating. In spite of the fact that he was dating Emilia Clarke from Round of Lofty Positions for a long time back in 2012, he's a solitary fellow, and he's simply dating, which is basically shrewd. He is by all accounts extremely keen on chasing after his enthusiasm and making that new Orville TV program. A person like himself that experienced childhood with the Star Journey, the cutting-edge TV program is undeniably bound to head out in a different direction on the grounds that most of the characters on that show were lone wolves with periodic heartfelt excursions. Of late, he's been seen going out with a secret lady, but she wasn't anybody popular. Ladies say they're searching for men that make them snicker, and that would positively be him. Yet, he's more keen on seeking after his interests in life, rather than the putty tank. Number 9 on this rundown is Benicio del Toro. Once Benicio answered a questioner by saying, "For what reason do I need to get hitched to make sure I can get separated?" He as of now has a little girl with excursion Kimberly Stewart, daughter of vocalist Bar Stewart. They had their girl together, however they weren't seeing someone. He's doing things the co-nurturing style, and he's unreasonably bustling making another Star Wars film and could be another series. It's probably the case that he's heading out in a different direction, since he comprehends that marriage prompts separation, and subsequently, he's an enemy of marriage. You don't really see anybody singling out them as you do the following lone wolf on this rundown, Leonardo DiCaprio. Del Toro sounded annoyed when he asked that columnist for what reason he ought to get hitched. DiCaprio then again is quiet and respectful. A genuine honorable man the columnists attempted to disgrace for not being hitched. He's around the age of 40 and journalists imagine that he ought to be hitched with youngsters, rather than getting a charge out of existence with models hanging off his arms. For what reason is it so hard for individuals in our general public to acknowledge the way that if a man has any desire to remain single, he ought to be permitted to do as such without having to continually be gone after for his decision? In any case, individuals need to realize that even VIPs need to endure the sufferings of marriage. How dare a man with fortune and distinction not need to manage the things that the supposed little individuals need to manage? An article called The Modelizer shows us an image of him with his snickering pal Tobey Maguire on a yacht loaded with models. I surmise Tobey Maguire is additionally separated, and presently he's his right man. The next mgtow big name is Michael Keaton. He was hitched up until 1990, and he has a child with his ex. She died at quite some time in the past. He dated Kim Basinger as well as Michelle Pfeiffer from the Batman films. After he got done with seeking Courtney Cox in 1995, he remained essentially single. He takes his child to grant shows, and will most likely assist his child Sean Douglas in getting to the acting industry eventually. Sadly, there are bits of gossip whirling around out there that he's dating somebody and may be getting connected rather soon. We should simply trust that doesn't occur. The next person is, in all honesty, Hop the Sofa Tom Journey. He is by all accounts heading out in a different direction for around 4 to 5 years now. The Scientologist unloaded his most memorable spouse after 8 years. Then he unloaded his second wife, Nicole Kidman, after 11 years. From that point onward, he was the one unloaded by Katie Holmes, and he headed out in a different direction. It's been various years, and he hasn't been seeing someone. At the point when he was more youthful, he got a kick out of the chance to explore every available opportunity, and had his preference for more seasoned ladies. His last marriage with Katie Holmes endured just 5 years. However, something lets me know that he's currently finished and no longer needs to manage the show of another child mom. I recall 2012 strolling through New York City for various blocks in the downpour in light of the fact that the covers were full and I didn't want to ride around on the tram. Before me was Katie Holmes with her adoration kid that she had with Tom Journey, and there was a 6-foot-tall individual of color that she employed to hold the umbrella. I surmise he was her guardian too. The explanation his race is significant is on the grounds that she's presently along with Jamie Foxx. Discussing people of color, I'm certain that large numbers of you thought I would exclude an individual of color on this rundown. Assuming you were considering calling MTV and the Youthful Turks to report me, you better not on the grounds that the fifth man on this rundown is Lenny Kravitz. I plan to put Prince on this rundown. However, you know the drill, dead in a lift. Kravitz has been single from the early 90s and hasn't had a committed relationship from that point forward. He even did a cover for the tune American Lady Avoid Me in a kind of Jimi Hendrix style. He has a girl that he's training into the business and presumably keeps him occupied. His little girl obviously is stability of Lisa Bonet from the early 1990s. The thing about him and many folks on this rundown is that they're truly challenging to track down. You think that I should simply look for a solitary Hollywood entertainer or a performer on Google, and a lot of their names would come up. As a general rule, at whatever point I did a quest for single or unmarried superstars, I continued to run into Oprah and Diane Keaton, as well as numerous other female big names that are currently single, too various to even consider referencing. I became weary of seeing for the most part ladies in the single always records that I see on the web. At whatever point I did run into the single male VIPs, there were frequently disgracing articles and individual assaults connected to them. However, the media won't ever tell somebody like Charlize Theron, you realize you're getting up there in age, wouldn't you say now is the right time to settle down and have a family and a spouse? The individual meeting her would presumably lose his employment. Yet, folks like DiCaprio continue to get asked again and again and being disgraced on the grounds that everybody generally assumes that disgrace deals with men. While doing my quest for this rundown, I ran into a proportion of about 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 single or unmarried female superstars when contrasted with the male ones. Next is Michael Keaton. He's a little mad about entering his 60s without that unique lover. It's totally revolting what renowned single men need to persevere from the media. Ladies don't appear to need to manage it as much since it's engaging for a lady to be on her desolate. The folks like Ricky Gervais is being placed in the never hitched records. I believe that is horrendous on the grounds that the man is essentially not heading out in a different direction. He has been in a 32-year involved acquaintance. One more person who continues to spring up on the rundown I was glancing through is John Hamm from the TV program Lunatic. Yet he's been with his sweetheart for 16 years at this point. So it's insufficient that renowned men are just being disgraced for not being hitched or settling down. Either a man is made to endure by a solitary individual lady in a marriage, or the man is made to endure by everybody around him, continually asking him when he will get hitched. A man's life, I suppose, should be tied in with enduring, while a lady is empowered if she's single or in a marriage. The next man on this rundown is neither a Hollywood entertainer nor performer. He's, as a matter of fact, 32-year-old Sovereign Harry from the regal English government. Sovereign Harry is as yet single at 32. Once more, individuals love singling out single men and disgracing us, particularly on the off chance that said men are popular. Assuming ladies were being asked exactly the same things, the femtard police would appear and say that ladies were being mistreated and set off or disgraced for being single. The media needs to quit hassling them, but since they're men, nobody appears to mind. Perhaps Ruler Harry is single since he basically saw what occurred in the separation between his mom and father. For what reason doesn't anybody think about this? He's a person, and if he somehow happened to get hitched and have a family, there would be much more cameras in front of him bothering him and his significant other. Once more, perhaps he comprehends that most ladies are soon after him for the situation, with turning into a genuine princess, and that he's simply an instrument for that end. That is the main 10 rundowns. Tell me in the remark area, assuming you think I missed somebody who you feel that is. The men on this rundown generally can't say that they're really heading out in a different direction, or their vocations would in all likelihood be destroyed somewhat. In spite of the fact that Bill Maher has done well telling the world that he's heading out in a different direction, he's on everything with the exception of the mgtow name. Be that as it may, for the enormous Hollywood stars, it would presumably be a lifelong self-destruction. That is all there is to it for now. Remember to crush the like button, bang the ringer in gratitude for taking your everyday portion of red pills. Recall, a red pill daily keeps the basic Tobey Maguires away. Partake in the remainder of your day and good health.